Hey, Sean's here, and this will be my quick guide to the second half of the RHCSA lab setup. So not really much to do. We're just going to be setting up the NFS, the network file system, getting that set up so that we can, access some other things besides just the repo. So first thing you're going to need to do is install the NFS utils. You can do that by just doing DNF install, or rather DNF install. You can use the Y flag just to skip the confirmation check, and then you do utils. And then you may have to specify the repo to get it to download properly, like base OS. See, if I run that here, I already have it. So obviously for you, it would go ahead and install it. But then once that's done, you're going to go ahead and need to make the directories that we're actually going to be hosting data inside of. So the first one you're going to make is this one right here. Let me just go over to what it is. So I'll go ahead and list what they are, of course, in the description. It'll be this one first, and then you can use curly braces whenever you're making directories to kind of make multiple directories all at once, which you do want to do here because we're going to make these 3 directories. So obviously I already have these, so we'll go ahead and just take a look. You can see that we have these 3 directories that I would have just made already there. Then we're going to go into the home directory, and we're going to actually create the profile directories for each one of our users. So we can go ahead and list all those here. These are the ones that you're going to make. You can use the same method, just make dir either using relative pathing or absolute pathing. Go ahead and make each one of these: Cindy, Jack, Jan, Manny, Marcia, and Mo. I think it's actually Joe. Nope, it is Mo. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and create the default profiles for each user. Now we could do this manually. Of course, that would take a little bit of extra time and would be very tedious. So we're just going to automate this a little bit. Just run some simple logic, just a simple for loop. We've done that in programming. It's, very simple. So I'm going to run a simple for loop, and it's kind of the same syntax like you might see in Python or whatever. You're just going to say for user in, whereas in, Python or something else, you might have just use a single variable to express the range that you're covering through. We're going to actually define each one. So make sure that you separate them by a white space: Manny, Mo, Jack, Marcia, Jan, and Cindy. Then make sure to cap that off with a semicolon, signal that that's one part of the total statement. Then what the loop is going to actually do is that it's going to copy every single one of the files within the scale directory. Using the wildcard operator, we're going to copy any file that starts with .b, because these files are hidden, so they're going to start with the .b. And then once that's done, you're just going to do a space to actually specify, of course, where the destination is going to be. We're going to assign the user variable in the for loop to this directory, essentially. Cap it off with another semicolon, and then just hit done. And you don't need another semicolon for this. You can, choose if you want to, but it doesn't really matter. So go ahead and run that for loop, and then it'll go ahead and append those profiles, or rather the default profiles to each one. So if we were to say do it for Cindy, you can see that she has that. If we did it for Jack, you see that as well. Jan, do that as well. So now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and basically set the ownership for the files. So you basically just do this, and this will be a little bit monotonous because without a pre-made script, we can't really automate this much further because we're going to have to make individual changes. So we're going to be going ahead and assigning a specific user and group ID to each one of these files. And this will be changed later, of course, during one of the tasks. So you're essentially going to run something like this on each one of these lines. We're going to use the chown command, the -r flag, and then you're putting the user ID that we're setting. We're not using a name, we're just using a actual number. And then the group ID separated with a colon. Then we're specifying, of course, the NFS share that we are actually targeting, which is our NFS share profile that we're targeting, which in this case going to be Manny for 1010. So now that that's done, we just need to set up the exports file. So we're just going to go to /etc/exports. And this is the file right here. And this is basically how you're going to set it up. So the first one is going to be, this is basically the full configuration. It's just going to be hosted basically on the virtual interface that is handling the host network for this host only adapter. Now, once that's done, all that is left. Of course, we need to right click, but I'm not doing that because I'm not actually saving my changes. I didn't want to change anything anyways. We'll just restart the NFS server program so that it will actually, of course, save all these changes and go ahead and restart it with the made changes. Give it a second to go ahead and do so. Okay, and then you are all done. You are all set up for the next task, which will be task 7. I believe I still yet to make. So yeah, we will be moving on to that. Hope this helped make it a little bit simpler to get everything set up, and on to the next. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. See you in the next one. Peace.